Welcome back, fabulous friends. We're going to go ahead and make a really great flatbread or tortilla. First, we're going to start with green onions. I picked some fresh basil from our garden as well as some fresh cilantro. And then you're also going to want to use some garlic, and we're going to go ahead and cut those up. And here I just want to show you, if you have green onions, save the top parts of those green onions. Those top parts you can replant in your garden and they grow pretty quickly. If it's not cold outside, they'll grow really quickly, and then you will have fresh green onions over and over and over again. You really don't have to buy any more green onions if you get into the process of replanting these. These also grow okay on patios and in the house, but you will need to get it out to get some sun to go ahead and help it grow. So if you plant it in the house, you're gonna want to take it out and get some sun, or at least put it in a window where there's gonna be some sun. So we're gonna go ahead and start by cutting up these green onions pretty small because they're going to go into the actual tortilla or flatbread, or sometimes I call it a pancake bread. But basically, you're going to want to make them really small. So first I started cutting them, and then I'm now mincing them up, and I'm going to place these in a bowl. Give this video a thumbs up if you're like me and you find the action of cutting up vegetables super soothing. Also, let me know where you hail from. It's always nice to know where our fans are from and who are watching our videos. Here we're cutting up the basil from the garden. And if you're curious, we do have a lot of garden videos on our channel, so you can check them out. And we have a lot of podcasts as well as daily motivational minutes. So definitely check out all the other things we have on this channel aside from just recipes, but we love doing our recipes. So the basil goes in. And now we're gonna go ahead and cut up the cilantro. And this, again, fresh from the garden. Anytime I can use my veggies fresh from the garden, I just feel like I've accomplished something, and it just feels good. And let me tell you, the basil and the cilantro in this garlic bread or tortilla is so tasty. It's just unbelievable. And here's some garlic. And a trick for doing garlic, mincing up garlic, is to cut off the ends and then smash like I'm doing here. Bam! Makes them really easy to mince up. Do you have any cooking tips? Let us know in the comment section below. And also, while you're down there, let us know what other kind of flavors would be really good in this tortilla or pancake bread. I'm going to show you both ways and how you can make it tortilla or pancake bread. So let us know what kind of flavors you would find very tasty in these kind of breads. And these are our seasonings for the tortillas or pancake breads, like we like to call them. Sometimes you can call them flatbreads too. Now let's get moving on to the dry ingredients that we're going to go ahead and add. But I always like to clean as I go. So first I'm going to clean up a little bit, and then we're going to jump into flour, sugar, salt, water. And it's also a good time to put a tablespoon or a tablespoon and a half of butter in the microwave to melt, or at least have it on the countertop so it's melting, because you're going to want melted butter as well. So here we go. We're going to put 2.5 cups of flour. Next, you're going to want to put 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and also we like a little spice, so I add a little ground cayenne, 1 teaspoon of ground cayenne as well, cayenne pepper. You can also put in pepper flakes, different things like that. You're also going to want to add in 2 cups of water, and you're going to mix it well. Now here is the difference. Here's where you're going to either get a flatbread or a pancake bread, or you're going to get a tortilla. If you want it to be like a pancake bread, then basically mix it with less water and you can go ahead and create it this consistency here. If you want it to be a flatbread, you're going to want it thinner, but still got a little firmness when you're scooping it out. Here you'll see I decided I don't want it to be too much of a pancake bread, so here's where I added the additional cup of water, and you'll see that it's just the consistency. The only difference between what kind of bread you get is the consistency of how thick your batter is. You do want to make sure that you get all the lumps out of that too. Of course, you're going to have lumps from the veggies and the herbs that you put in there, but as far as anything else, you want to make sure that you get all the other lumps out. And then we're going to go ahead and mix this up, get it to the consistency we want it, and then we're just going to scoop it into the frying pan with a little bit of olive oil on the bottom. Do keep in mind that you do add a tablespoon of butter, which you'll see here in a moment as well. So once you've mixed it up, stirred it up, and done all of that, you're going to want to add in a tablespoon of butter. But again, like I said, this is the consistency. If you want it to be a super thin, this is how thin you want it. If you want it to be thicker, then add in a little bit more flour. The consistency is how the bread's going to turn out. Anyone else find whisking comforting? Let me tell you, cooking is just one of the ways that I can relax. I love it. Here I'm going to go ahead and add in the 1 tablespoon of melted butter. And we are ready to, once it's mixed in, we'll be ready to go ahead and put it in the pan. So here you see I have greased up the pan. You don't need a huge layer of oil in the bottom of the pan, but you definitely want to make sure that the oil covers the pan. And this, I'm just showing you the pancake consistency, so you'll see what it's like with pancake consistency. My family liked it. It could also be considered like a flatbread if you've got it bubbling up when you're cooking it. But basically, you're going to fry it over medium heat and flip it when the moisture on the top shows that it's drying out. I told my husband, for as much as we love these, a griddle is a great birthday present or Christmas idea for us because you can cook a lot more than just one at a time. So here you'll see I'm just starting to lift up the edges to see how it's cooking, and it simply just comes together really nicely. And you want to keep it moving. You want to keep attention on this. You're not going to just put this here and then forget it. You're going to be over it the entire time as you're cooking because you want to make sure that you're not missing it. You see those dark spots that are coming in on the top of the tortilla bread, the flatbread? That's where the moisture's coming out, and it kind of gives you an idea. Go ahead and flip it. So I flipped that one a little bit early. You could have let it dry out even more and let a lot more moisture come out of the top, but it flipped so easily I just figured, well, we'll flip it. You'll see in later how I do the thinner ones that I let it get a lot more dried out on top before I flip it. So here I'm just moving it and making sure that I'm keeping it, getting the heat from all angles, and that just helps with it to make the bubbles form as you're cooking, and you'll start to see bubbles come through the top as the moisture continues to come out, and that's where you get the idea of the flatbread. This one actually came out more like a pancake, so that's why I call it either a pancake bread, savory pancake bread, really good, very thin pancake, or a flatbread, or again the tortilla type bread, and it all comes out really nicely, and it's super easy to make. This whole entire recipe, once you have the herbs and everything cut up, you're looking at maybe 5 minutes mixing everything together. The time that you're actually doing the actual cooking, where you've got it on the grill and you're cooking, this is why I told my husband I would love a griddle for one of our holidays coming up, because it literally, that's the time-consuming part of this recipe, is just cooking each one. So I cooked up the bread, and now I am cooking up some fried eggs for breakfast. It's a great breakfast bread. It's a great anytime bread. You can dip this in hummus, you can make it for breakfast, you can use it for burritos. It is all really up to you and what kind of ideas you can come up with. What ideas do you think you can come up with? Either the flatbread or the tortilla version of this recipe? Let us know in the comment section below. We love to hear great ideas from other people. And then you never know, you might come up with an amazing recipe with the help of others. Truth be told, that's one of the things I love about cooking is I love kind of taking recipes and finding ways to adapt it and make it my own and getting creative. Now you'll see, this is what I mean by pancake bread. When I ripped open the pancake bread, you could see it had a little thickness to it. It was perfect for breakfast and it was not quite a tortilla. Add in a little fruit and vegetables and you got your plate. Now this one that I'm showing you now on the screen is actually a lot thinner, and I think you can see it's pretty razor thin, and I wanted to show you how this can become a flatbread as well, because you're going to see the puffiness as it's cooking. Again, on medium heat, you're going to want to stay over it and make sure that you're watching it. And here I'm showing you the consistency. It's a little bit thinner than that pancake consistency I was talking about before. To do that, you just add a little bit more water. It's so simple. You can figure out which consistency your family likes the best. My family likes the tortilla consistency. You saw how thin when I flipped it got. And my family liked that consistency more than anything else. Now I will tell you, if you leave this on the stove and you walk away, you will get burned. It will get burned because it's so thin. You got to be there the entire time. As you can see here, the bread is browning up. And I'm showing you in closer, these little, when I'm tapping on the bread, those are little bubbles that are producing, creating that flatbread or tortilla-like texture, that consistency with the air pockets growing into the bread. Oh, it is so tasty and so delicious. Combining that with the fresh herbs from the garden and the garlic, it is an amazing bread and one of my family's favorites. I'm so glad to be sharing this with you today. Here I wanted to show you again, you don't need a lot of oil, just enough to coat it so that the bread doesn't stick to the pan. And the consistency up close, and you'll watch as it sizzles and cooks. And just use your spatula or your scooper to start stirring or to start spreading it out. Really easy, but it is time consuming. I will warn you, you will spend about an hour over the stove depending upon the size of your either griddle or your frying pan. And here you can see on the top how the darker part is where the moisture has been kind of brought out, and the lighter part is where it's still moist. And I was mentioning that earlier, the more you drain the moisture out before you flip it the first time, the better off it's going to cook, and the faster it will come to those little bubbles that you're looking for that texture. And this is our favorite tortilla or flatbread recipe. And what kind of flavors would you put in your flatbread or your tortillas? Let us know in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel. Check out our other videos, our recipes, as well as our podcast and our daily motivation minutes. And thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye.